In the days when the judges ruled Israel, there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Amalek, took his wife Naomi and their 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, and went to live in the land of Moab. The sons married Moabite women, Ruth and Orpah, and then, in the space of 10 years, all 3 men died. When the famine ended, Naomi decided to return to Bethlehem, and her daughters-in-law begged to go with her. But Naomi disagreed. "Go back, each of you, to your mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you as you have dealt with the dead and with me. The Lord grant that you may find security, each of you, in the house of your husband." "No, we will return with you to your people." "Turn back, my daughters. Why will you go with me? Do I still have sons in my womb that they may become your husbands? Turn back, my daughters. Go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. Even if I thought there was hope for me, even if I should have a husband tonight and bear sons, would you then wait until they were grown? Would you then refrain from marrying? No, my daughters, it has been far more bitter for me than for you, because the hand of God has turned against me." The 3 women wept aloud again as Orpah kissed her mother-in-law and said goodbye. Naomi turns to Ruth. "See, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. Return after your sister-in-law." "Do not press me to leave you or to turn back. Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die. There I be buried. May the Lord do thus and so to me, and more as well, even if death parts me from you." Believing now that Ruth would rather die than leave her, Naomi fell silent, and the 2 traveled to Bethlehem together. When they arrived, the village women were surprised to see Naomi again and said, "Is this Naomi?" Naomi replied, "Call me no longer Naomi. Call me Mara, for the mighty has dealt bitterly with me. I went away full, but God has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi when the Almighty has dealt harshly with me, and the Almighty has brought calamity upon me?" Ruth's feelings might have been hurt when Naomi failed to mention her support and love, but she turned her attention instead to the practical matter of finding food for them to eat. Ruth knew that the Israelites had a law allowing the poor to gather leftovers from the harvest. The barley harvest was just beginning, as Ruth said, "Let me go to the field and glean among the ears of grain, behind someone in whose sight I may find favor." Naomi replied, "Go, my daughter." And glean she did. Ruth worked behind the reapers until she happened to go into a field belonging to a man named Boaz, a relative of her late husband. When Boaz saw Ruth, he asked to whom she belonged. A foreman told Boaz of Ruth's hard labor and faithfulness to Naomi. Impressed, Boaz invited her to stay in his fields, to harvest as much as she needed, to drink water drawn from his well, and to feel safely protected among his workmen. Grateful, Ruth bowed down before him. "Why have I found favor in your sight, that you should take notice of me when I'm a foreigner?" Boaz told Ruth all that he had heard of her kindness to Naomi, and he offered his benediction. "May you have full reward from the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come for refuge." Ruth replied, "May I continue to find favor in your sight, my Lord, for you have comforted me and spoken kindly to me, even though I am not one of your servants." Ruth not only found favor with Boaz, she found abundant food as well. Boaz secretly told his servants to add to her gleanings whole stalks from their bundles of sheaves. And after Ruth beat out the barley, she had much grain to take home to Naomi. Naomi asked where Ruth had gleaned and where she had worked. She gave blessings to the man who took notice of Ruth. Ruth told her where she gleaned and named Boaz as the field owner where she worked, even saying that Boaz had instructed her to stay close to his servants until they finished all his harvest. Naomi, putting her hands together in thanksgiving, said, "Blessed be he whose kindness has not forsaken the living or the dead." Boaz is a relative of ours, one of our nearest kin. And so, until the end of the barley and wheat harvests, Ruth continued to live with her mother-in-law and to glean in the fields of Boaz. As the harvest celebration drew to a close, Naomi revealed a plan. "My daughter, I need to seek some security from you, so that it may be well with you. Now here is our kinsman Boaz, with whose young women you have been working. See, he is winnowing barley tonight at the threshing floor. Now go, wash, and anoint yourself, and put on your best clothes and go down to the threshing floor. But do not make yourself known to the man until he has finished eating and drinking. When he lies down, observe the place where he lies. Then go and uncover his feet and lie down, and he will tell you what to do. Ruth responded to Naomi, saying, all that you tell me, I will do. The festival, with its pleasures of wine, music, and dance, took its toll on the landlord, and soon Boaz slept soundly. Ruth crept up to him as instructed and lay down at his feet. At midnight, when the wine had worn off, Boaz awoke. Ruth whispered, I am Ruth, your servant. Spread your cloak over your servant, for you are next of kin. Boaz was flattered that Ruth had chosen him over younger men in the village, but he also knew there was a policeman in Bethlehem who would have first rights to marry Ruth, and who should act the part of the Redeemer, or Goel. Boaz told Ruth to remain with him for the night. He would go to the man in the morning, and before the sun could reveal her presence under Boaz's cloak, Ruth crept home.
Walk of shame.
Upon getting home, Naomi asked, how did things go with you, my daughter? He gave me and thee 6 measures of barley, for he said, do not go back to your mother-in-law empty-handed. Boaz met the other kinsmen by the city gate. 10 elders served as witnesses to the kinsmen's refusal to redeem Ruth and to Boaz's acquisition of the name, his inheritance, in order that the name of the dead may not be cut off from his kindred and from the gate of his native place. Boaz and Ruth married, and when they came together, the Lord made Ruth conceive, and she bore a son. The village women said to Naomi, blessed be the name of the Lord, who has not left you this day without next of kin. And may his name be renowned in Israel. He shall be your restorer of life and a nourisher of your old age. Your daughter-in-law who loves you and is more to you than seems sons has bore him.
Hakuna Matata!
To Naomi. They named him Obed, and he became the father of Jesse,